Hello. Yes, good morning. I really love that flawless thingy. Yeah, it works really good. You can use it on your nails and your feet. Yeah, it works really good. It has little cuticle buffers and little different pieces you can put on it. And it lights up, which is really cool. I naturally sometimes get the droopy eyes. I mean, call it what you want to call it. I know everyone always wants to say that I'm on something. It's interesting. Yeah, they have a lot to say, don't they? Yeah, over the years, honestly, it's disgusting, disturbing, beyond patronizing, and it's sad. A lot of innocent people have been killed, and our children have been fucked and tortured, so I'm not sure what you think you're justifying or proving, but it sure does help others understand how they get away with it, so on with the show until it's not. On again, off again, clickety clack. You're welcome. Oh, good, because we're laying it on a little thick. It's 11:30, August 4th, 2026.
Joe Rogan can't believe what Tim Pool said to him is the title of a short completely unrelated to Joe Rogan or me, but I have to do it, guys. I have to bring it up. I gotta play this clip. The story's actually about, this segment that I'm doing is about the death of the right-wing media ecosystem, so say at the New York Times, which is not real. They're lying. And they know they're lying because they're not paying attention. Well, I'm sorry, guys. It's biased of me to accuse the New York Times of lying, but I'm going to go ahead and say they're probably lying. Benny Johnson did a video breaking down how the New York Times claimed that all these big right-wing accounts are suffering, they're losing views. Yeah, he made a great point. He's like, they claimed that in 2024, and they literally showed the election, views were way higher and now they're way down. And he's like, that's like saying soccer interest has gone down in between the World Cup, and he's completely correct. But this video, I did a video talking about the Joe Roganification of YouTube, the slop content, and how YouTube is, they may be cracking down AI content, which is destructive to the ecosystem, but they're not stopping stuff like this, and I don't know that you actually can for a variety of reasons. So I want to show you this video because the context is extremely important.
Where?
Although this isn't exactly the same as the video I did last week, where I talked about they make these videos of Joe Rogan react we kind of didn't react to get clicks.
You're not even
I want to talk about the current ecosystem in media and why the New York Times is making this claim. And yes, it is largely political. But first, let me give you the context and the example, and I have to do it.
You never saw it? No, it's wild. Hold on a second. So you want accountability for criminals? Is that right, Tim?
Yes.
Then why would you support a 34-count felon?
Trump was not legitimately charged with any crime.
That's your opinion.
It's a fact.
Did he not make up and falsify business records?
Who was accused of it?
He didn't
On
break
the
the law.
clock,
He did
off
not.
the
But
clock.
Perhaps, so in your opinion,
Perhaps maybe no. Okay, stop. I'm gonna mute you if you try and play that stupid stuff. Donald Trump was accused of misdemeanor falsification of business records by instructing a lower staffer. We don't know he actually instructed. All because of Cohen making a claim about paying Stormy Daniels. This cannot be upgraded to a felony because it's what's called requiring an underlying crime. What was the underlying crime?
the problem I have...
Answer the fucking question.
What was the underlying
Yes.
crime? 34 counts.
Of what?
Okay, falsifying business records.
Underlying crime. Name it.
I don't have it right in front of me.
There isn't one. What is the underlying crime?
He was convicted in a court of law, Tim.
Oh my God.
I don't have the case
You
right in front of me.
belong in a cult.
I'm in a cult.
It's not my fault. You don't know what you're talking about, and you're zealously arguing for it.
You never saw it? No. It's...
So there's literally no reason to attach the Joe Rogan thing to the front of me, but these things pop up all the time, and they do two things. They take views from Joe Rogan, and they take views from me. I don't know who @Blue Media is. But there are whole channels that literally just take a random clip of Joe Rogan acting like he's freaking out and put it over clips of me. The bigger context here is what is currently happening to the media ecosystem of podcasting. Something I've predicted now for the past several years. Simple version is, you are going to be, as a podcaster, as a personality, either signed to a network the way it used to be 30 years ago, or you will cease to exist. Because Joe Rogan is signed to Spotify. He makes lots of money because Spotify pays him. But his views are way down. I'm not saying that to drag out, to drag Joe or rag on him in any way. But back in, I don't know, 2021, 22, even 2018, like pre-COVID, because COVID messed things up a bit, Joe was getting something like 200 to 300 million views per month on YouTube, and now it's much lower. I think it's like 50, 60, somewhere around there. Joe's still the king of podcasting. He's still making, Forbes estimate, $82 million per year. But this is likely due to ad guarantees. I don't know what is... I have some insider information, insider knowledge from industry stuff. I'm not going to spill, rag on. I'm not gonna publish anyone's private stuff. But I think this is largely just Spotify signed a minimum guarantee. And what's going to happen is podcasters are going to serve effectively as, I don't know if propaganda is the right word, but town criers, as it were, as opposed to functional businesses. That is, with content like this, you can't make money. You cannot. Okay, so I did a debate with Brian Shapiro, you saw. That specific clip condenses it a bit, and I tell him to answer the ethic question. Well, it cut out a longer portion of the conversation. It wasn't just like all of a sudden I got mad and started screaming at him, but that's what get clicks, right? The point I was making is that in the Trump case, this is just getting to the weeds so you can understand the clip. Donald Trump never actually instructed his lawyer to falsify records. The argument from prosecution was that his lawyer just knew to do it. Therefore, it's Trump's responsibility. So this is a misdemeanor. And then decided that there was some underlying crime they did not specify or know for sure, but therefore it's a felony. That's illegitimate. That was my point. Now, the clip's got, I don't know, I think it has 100,000 views. I don't get that many. We stopped doing shorts because when we make shorts on our channels, we just show the actual clip. It's not sensationalized. There's no Joe Rogan in the front of it. That makes it damn near impossible to compete with people who do this. Which brings us to the New York Times. How the MAGA media machine is fracturing. That's right, they say, once united in support of President Trump, right-wing influencers are embroiled in feuds and losing viewers, creating a problem for Republicans in the midterm elections. They're lying. I recommend you guys, actually, I'm going to pull this up.
They would
I'm
rather
going to pull this up. You guys, right now,
invincible.
everyone go subscribe
So when you think about what we were
to
talking
Tim
about
Pool
earlier,
on
with
YouTube and the Tim
invincibility,
Pool Show on
and also
Rumble.
people just,
For those that
whether
are
it's
watching
drugs or
and check out the latest episode we
attention
did. It's
whatever it is.
exploding.
you
This
can get a
interview
little drug
with
on
Julie
that.
Mastrini of
You can feel invincible
AllSides.com
as though it
talking
can't
about
be
media
taken
bias.
from them.
Guys,
or
go to it's the new show. It's a one-on-one interview.
They're
It's 2
above
hours
the
and 20
law.
minutes long. And it's got 250,000 views in a day.
Yeah, like the
Pops
drug
off. We did an
mentality,
interview
the
with,
invincibility. You wonder how could they be so
Lily Tang
stupid
about
and literally
But
like
this is a
lying
new
right to
format
your
that we're doing.
face and thinking
Check this
they're
out.
going to
from
get away
Verizon,
with it
but
because
namely this interview
they
break
have
down
more
specifically how
force
the media is
control
lying
over
or
certain
I-
entities.
Now, Julie is
Of
basically,
course, the kids
we're not
are
here to
gonna
accuse
go
anybody of anything.
that way.
What they say at all sides is,
Pied Piper.
are they
I know, see,
presenting
age old
facts
kind
in
of
a
stuff.
way
So
that
you
is
see
not
that happen,
biased?
you're almost
That's
shocked.
it.
Like, do you not
So
see
the New York
that?
Times does
I
leave
don't
the
think
back
they
door.
do.
I don't know how they
So
rate
yeah,
the New York
some of the
Times.
classes they'd rather
But I
be
want to explain this to
untouchable
you guys.
than
How the media
invincible. Because
manipulates.
remember
I
back in
recommend
those
watch it
classes
if you
too.
go subscribe.
So around
watch
the
it if you
time
don't.
I think the
It's
movie
amazing.
Untouchables came
I had a
out.
blast and
Emilio
people are raving about it.
Estevez,
It's very informative.
Kiefer Sutherland.
This is the
was in
example.
that.
For
It's
those
a
that
good
already
movie,
saw that interview, this is the
Untouchables.
example. Is this headline biased?
Yeah, kind of like
The MAGA
forces
media machine
fighting
is
the
fracturing. They
crazy
show views are down.
invincibility
Yes, this
mindsets
is
that
fake. Fake
think
news.
it's okay to
Why is the New York
do
Times
what they
doing it?
do.
They want to shatter
Yikes.
confidence in the Republican Party, in Trump, etc.
Yeah, pretty
So they're
bad.
running fake narratives. So herein lies the big picture. The reason why I led with the Joe Rogan clip is, for one, I was on YouTube, it popped up for me, and I went, you gotta be acting. But what are you gonna do about it? Joe Rogan did not react to that clip. That was fake. But it gets massive play. You know what's really funny is I was interviewed for a couple different stories talking about monetization, algorithm. I made a video talking about Ben Shapiro and Candace Owens because to be honest, it's slow news day. This was like one of the biggest stories, and it ends up getting I think like 150,000 views or whatever, and pulling in about 2K in ad sales, generative ads. And that's massive. That's a high CPM. It's the $14, $15 CPM or something like that. And you do something on like the Iran war or politics and news, and you're getting a much, much smaller CPM or RPM, just basically how much money you make per view you get. What the New York Times is doing here, let me explain it to you. Once united in support of Trump, they're, as I mentioned already with Benny Johnson, they're taking these charts and showing literally at the election, the 2024 election, which is the Olympics for us in politics. It is the World Cup. And then they're showing that now, in the summer of a midterm year before the election, views are lower for people. Yes. Are you joking? This is ridiculous. Now guess what? Check out the spike in views. What happened at this point in the year that would cause viewership to rise? Could it be a war broke out? And there's Venezuela, and there's a lot of news. We're now in the summer, and a lot of prominent personalities have what's called summer break. I think, Dave Rubin does his August off. He goes off the grid. Bill Maher does his summer vacation. I even went and played the World Series and took 3 days off. Just 3, But the reality is, we all know it's in the summer, people don't want to sit inside and listen to the 20th hour of news podcasting. It was the same way back in 2021. Now, granted, we're coming off of COVID, so viewership is high in 2021 because a lot of people were still in lockdown. But I have worked in this industry for so long, we know it for a fact. Every post-presidential election, you will see, there's an interesting thing that happens. You get the cycle of the first 100 days, and you'll get a news boost. It's lower than the election, but it's decent. As you go into the next year, with the holidays, viewership declines. You get a slight boost when we come back, and then the summer of the midterm year is dead. It's always been this way. I've talked about it over and over again. The New York Times is biased. That's the point of that interview and why I brought it up. How they present this appears to be unbiased. Look at the data. That proves it. But they're intentionally misleading you by starting the chart off during the election when we had something like 200,000 concurrent viewers on Tipcast IRL. We're doing 30,000 concurrents on Tipcast IRL every night these days, on average. In January, we were at like 40. Then with into February, March, April, and May, we saw 40 to 50K on average. Then the summer hits. In May, the weather gets nice. Everyone wants to go outside. Nobody's going to sit inside and listen to the 20th hour of political content when there's nothing happening politically. The New York Times knows what they're doing. Let's take a look at the comments to see. Here's the Stuart A. Thompson, reporter covering technology. After Trump's election victory in 24, some influencers reacted with an odd slogan, "We are the media now," that they meant that Trump's victory was ushering a new era of right-wing cultural dominance, with the influencer class becoming the power center for news and information. That's a lie. When we were talking about the podcast presidency, we were saying that the podcasts, shows like mine, my morning show, Timcast IRL, and now the Tim Pool Show, were highly influential pre-election, which informed voters and led them to supporting Donald Trump. People like Joe Rogan. We were not saying that there would be no movies anymore or TV shows. But the truth is, we're still crushing it in the ratings. They're not showing you ABC, NBC, or otherwise to see that ratings are down for everyone. So what happened since then? I started with that question and pulled out some data to track what happened. What I found was a more troubling picture for most of them. Far from becoming media behemoths, many creators saw their audiences shrink or flatline. Pro-Trump content seemed to lose its power to draw audiences. I will just stress this. You can go to my channel and look. I do a video titled Trump Wins, and I get 250,000 to 300,000 views. I don't do it all the time. It's only when there's actually something there. And I gotta be honest, we've now won the Iran war 5 times. I am tired of winning. So I'm not interested in running stories on oh great, another peace deal. Just spare me. Talk about the war when the war matters. But this is the game they play where they lie. First, let me just say, our viewership at TipCast, surprisingly, is up. Now you may be saying, now hold on there, Tim, I looked at your channel, and I saw that you did a video yesterday at 30,000 views. Yeah, I think I was talking about John Bernthal and pit bulls, because I was kind of just bored of a lot of the talk, so I know that's not going to take off. But here's the thing. On average, a video that I produce will hit around 180K. Segments, the short clips from Timcast IRL, viewership has doubled. We're not getting the same amount of concurrent viewers on Timcast IRL, but like we were in May, we've also changed our content delivery strategies as the media ecosystem has evolved. Our short content is now generating substantially more views on different platforms. We're getting millions to tens of millions of views per month, more than we were before. And I'll also stress this. We used to get more. Our first shorts, when they launched, we were getting like 3 million views. It was nuts. Shorts were massive for us. YouTube flatlined. Why? This is the point. When we make a clip from the show, and it's 2 minutes or it's a minute long of me arguing, and then someone AI generates, and this is AI, you can see the subtitles, and they stick a Joe Rogan on the front, what are people going to click? Tim Pool show debate segment, or Joe Rogan shocked, and then show Tim Pool. So they're stealing my content, they're slapping Joe Rogan in front of it. So yes, we lose those views. We adapted our view strategy recently, and we've seen a major burst in viewership, which you can say is absolutely fantastic. He goes on to say, that seemed to prove popular, but also became a distraction as Republican candidates try to push a clear message in midterms. So the real test for many of these creators will come in September, October, as attention in the midterms picks up. If their numbers stay down or slump further, it raises a lot of questions of the role they're supposed to play in the future. It'd be interesting if this guy included, I mean, look at this. Podcast listens are actually stable. It's a lie. Our podcast audience, audio downloads, same as it has always been. Guys, listen to the show. Check out we got a bunch of shows. We got the Culture War, and they're all very similar, me complaining. Timcast IRL on all podcast platforms. We've got the Tim Pool Daily News Show, which is an aggregate of all my morning content. The Culture War, which is the specific half hour targeting one particular issue. And now we have the new Tim Pool Show podcast with we've done 2 interviews that are published. We actually have already recorded 3. These are one-on-one, less intense, more focused on the guest, less me talking, because people are always like, Tim, you talk too much on Timcast IRL. And I'm like, oh no, my news commentary show where I'm the host and I comment on things I'm talking too much. Guys, you want to watch me sit there and talk to somebody else? Tim Pool Show. But look at this. I like this Rumble views. Rumble's actually doing great. This is really funny. Look at this. So during the election, this is earlier in the year, just post the election, Rumble was exploding. The viewership on Rumble was absolutely massive, and we were enjoying ridiculous numbers. I think we were getting like 40K on YouTube and 40K on Rumble. It was just nuts. And then it drops off after the election. Then it goes up, drops a little bit, goes up, and it's summer. It's the summer. What's happening with Rumble is not unique in any respect. In fact, it's doing better than X. Where X is dropped way off. YouTube has gone down with some spikes, but this is where we got to understand podcast listens, non-algorithmic. Podcasts are editorially chosen, and people who listen to podcasts listen to them as habit, less so because something was recommended. So, what I will say is, yeah, I think our views generally are down in a couple different areas. We've made up for this by boosting our audio podcasts, by also increasing shorts. But I also want to stress too, like fully recognizing I've made content choices. Like the dog thing yesterday got very few views, but I don't care. I'm bored with so much of these things, and I was like, let's talk about dogs. You know, I know it's not going to get as many views, but I also want to stress too, I've taken time off for the summer. So for a lot of this, what they're not telling you is how many people took a break. In this article, I think they even highlight like Steven Crowder. Do they have Crowder in here? They don't have Crowder in here. They do have Crowder in here. Crowder was on like vacation. It's just not real. It's made up. Okay? What do they say? Benny Johnson, Ben Kelly, Dan Bongino, Ben Shapiro, Candace Owens, Steven Crowder have podcasts and live stream through a tumultuous period in right-wing influence. I don't know. You know, look at this. This is absolutely Candace Owens' audience across platforms. I ain't no big fan of Candace Owens. Don't get me wrong. She's claiming she got psychic powers now. Man, I kind of wish I could do that. I wish I could. I just wish I could, guys. I would much rather do a show where I'm like, friends, I woke this morning and I saw an energy in front of me. An energy. And it almost pulsed. I can't describe it, but it was like a pulse of energy. And it wasn't that it was speaking, but that information was transmitted into what I can only
It's,
believe was my
well,
third
when you
eye.
look at those same lines too, and people that'll say,
Everything.
the Holy Spirit
Israel
takes over
I'd
me.
love to be able to do that. No, I can't do that. Anyway, she's claiming that she can astral project and that her and Charlie, I guess, I don't know how much of this stuff is real.
I have
to be honest.
premonitions.
But I know that she's mentioned before that Charlie had electromagnetic powers. Guys, I am not joking. She claimed that Charlie may have been an alien.
Right, well, some
time
of them will
traveler,
play into
and
it
had electromagnetic
when it's what they were
powers.
told his children,
That's
so
not
it's
a
what they really
She-
believe.
Please
You can
understand.
put this
I know
to
it sounds
like to
insane. Man,
tinnitus.
I'd love to live in a world, but guys, I woke up.
Some
and I
are
noticed I had a
explained
strange red
about
dot.
water on the
Small
ears and
blue red
inflammation, and others get
spiders
told
scurrying
you're
away.
hearing
And
angels.
next thing I knew, I was walking on walls. I'd love to be able to make
Whatever it
serious
is, you know,
content like that
different
people
things
believe.
you can apply.
And not like you go outside and someone's like, "Hey,
But how
Spider-Man,"
some
and
will
you're
play
like,
into it and act a victim.
Anyway,
Well, that's what we were
podcast
told,
hours are
and they
completely
medicated
fun.
us,
Also, how
and
do
they
you get
told
yourself
us
to
we were
know?
special
Podcast
or not
audio
special.
numbers.
I know you either had a
What?
gift or
This is
you were
insane. These
possessed,
numbers are
right?
microscopic. It's not
And
real.
depending on what kind of
Absolutely not
families you
real.
were from, they
They're
might got
saying
a
that,
lot of
like-
funding to
What
study
is this?
clairvoyance or
They're saying
prove
she's getting,
one might be a little more
Is that per week? No, I
in
believe it.
tune. And what is
I don't know what this
that?
incrementation is because you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Right, I
9,
mean, it's
10,
stuff that's really
11,
easily
12,
understood.
13.
It's
No, not
the
even 13.
businesses and
12.
criminals
12,
and organizations
like,
that take
what is this metric
advantage
supposed to be
of the
tracking?
wonder of it all.
Every 4, every 3.
And you'll
and a half
notice how
days
this
again?
is what we've been saying for many
700K,
years
like,
with a lot of these
I don't
things,
know if they're-
and how it's so
Oh, okay, I'm sorry,
frustrating
These are
to
like-
investigators
these are
and
weeks.
people that get caught
Oh,
up
okay. These are
when
weeks.
people make a big dramatic show and they really heard something, saw
Ain't no way
something,
that's
they got pictures, they got sightings.
Ain't no way that's
It's driven a lot of detectives
We get those
nuts
numbers, and
over
we're
the
not
years, and
ranking
we've seen a
these
lot of them
podcasts.
commit
That's like, I don't
suicide
believe
and
per
disappear,
week. Now, okay,
join
wait, I should be
forces,
fair.
become enemies
I
with.
did a weird thing that was probably bad for business. I
Die in the wonder of it all.
4 podcasts, but maybe it's good. So we have volume, but individual shows.
I can go on to live
Size,
really
what are they saying? The kid's
well
getting like 100K per
lives.
episode?
I mean, some just
What
are
does she do?
very
She does
at
5 episodes a
peace.
week, and she's doing like 100K per
They do
episode.
very
Kick-Ass
well,
IRL does
and it is
100K
sad
per
to see
episode.
so
Wow.
many kind of hop on. It's the
That's
same
crazy.
lizard people,
I
ghost,
kinda
alien.
explained
It's
a lot. We have
all
had
the same
podcast
fucking
companies trying to
bullshit.
come at us.
And that's why people
But
try to
also,
get
like, her podcast views
others to
are-
rise above the
Anyway,
noise, come
you
down
know,
to
I
earth a
love
little
talking
bit,
about industry
and
stuff. Look
just
at
be
this, Vince.
simple,
What?
stupid.
Holy crap.
Basic human understanding,
It's a
functioning,
joke,
cleanliness
Vince
is next to godliness,
Weekly
history,
views,
technology,
7
understanding
weekly average.
capabilities,
Look at
what
watching
has already
podcast.
happened.
Ben's crushing it. There was a dip in April for
Bacteria.
some reason, but Ben's
pH,
absolutely crushing it.
infections.
What are they talking about? You know what?
I mean, what's been going on, yeah, with the vaccines and
I
stuff.
know
That's
you're
why a
not
lot
on
of
your list.
people
I just launched a new show.
will focus on
You
different
see it.
topics and that handful of
177
things that
cameras
helps
per
to
episode.
unveil and peel back the onion on a lot of
257K
those
second
criminal
episode.
organizations and darkness
it's
that
still rolling.
plagues and
I'll send
infests
you
a lot
things.
of societies
Why
and
I
communities.
think this may be the case.
Vaccines, the overprescribing of SSRIs.
I think-
I mean, Pfizer, Big Pharma. Oh, we can't say vaccine over here. He touched a 16-year-old. Ah! Epstein Island, how many years? They're womanizing these prostitutes. Hunter Biden laptop, Hunter Biden laptop. For fuck's sakes.
We're like, well, we need to do a show that's just a conversation on
Oh,
interesting
god
issues
damn it.
around
So yeah, this
what we
stuff
care
is
about.
so old school to a lot of us.
It's
This
reason to
is
start
was all
off with
old in
literally what's my
2008.
sphere of influence.
And we're talking with people at the main parent federation being horrified again. Some of the same fucking hags and people in these lines and just the youngsters of that get guided by these elders that go into the systems and peddle their bullshit.
We're not going after the same basic people.
Remember back in the early 2000s they were arguing as to whether or not Andrea Yates heard God or the devil. We're like, God damn it. Are you kidding me?
So I'll just put it like this.
It's been a joke to people for a long time and how it's gotten to the point man, woman, what's the meaning of God, where people are kind of missing, bringing forth what we just were talking about and how crazy that is, and allowing these psychotic people to medicate children. Yeah, you can see where we run into issues where they have the pads.
We talk about so much of the same stuff
Okay.
all day, every day. You know, even this morning, I'm sitting there being
We
like,
don't.
the news is so boring. And then I saw this Benny Johnson clip.
We have a
and I was
lot
like,
of pens.
Benny's bringing up a good point, and this falls in line with what we're
But,
talking
I
about.
mean,
And
the
then I saw
power
it
in
on
a
YouTube,
pen
and I saw that
changes
Joe Rogan clip,
depending
and I'm like,
on
all right, we're rolling.
who's
I got so much
holding
to
it,
say
huh?
about this.
Your
But sit down
signature don't
interviews.
mean shit here.
Hitting it out of the park.
It ain't worth
We do them once a
nothing.
week. We put up clips
That's
of it
gonna
for the week.
bounce.
This is the new show.
That's gonna
And I think
bounce.
we're also going to be expanding with the cultural.
Anyways,
podcast.
it's
We've got that
interesting
lined up,
and
some
fun
videos
stuff to
to
learn
back
about.
up.
I
Let me
think
just
those
say,
would be
like,
fun
the
classes,
media, okay, simply
you know,
put,
to
they're
have
lying.
in schools
They are
too.
lying. Guys,
Make
it's
a comedy
summer
show
of the
out of
midterm
it.
cycle. Nobody's following politics.
We have the capabilities of doing
So they
it.
want to lie, cheat, and steal. But I want to stress at least
The
one
same
thing.
lines they put out the
AI
mandates for
content
masks.
is displacing
I know, we have a
us.
lot
And
of
now we're going to show that Joe
astrophysicists and
Rogan.
scientists and
We
comedians
are being displaced by
and
AI
different
content.
people.
You cannot
That would
compete
be
with an Indian
great
kid who
for those
produces
kind of
10,000 videos per day.
online
You did this
teaching.
tracking
Not to
down
let AI
restricted
take
AI
over.
content,
I remember
but
when they
this
mentioned this
video
back in the
yesterday,
day,
it's stolen views from Joe Rogan.
and they freaked
It's
out as
stolen
though
money
we're
from
going to
Joe
let
Rogan.
sex
Stolen money
dolls
from-
teach the
I'm gonna
class.
wrap it up there. We'll leave it there. I'll just talk about whatever, I guess.
And
We'll have
we
fun.
just
I'll stop
totally
taking
didn't
this
even
because the new
access
one,
all those capabilities.
He's like, I say something like,
People
guys,
are
you
just
carry
kind of like,
20
what?
people
While
that
everyone's
say
fighting
something after
over
me.
who's
And
going
then
to
he
get
starts talking about
those
convenience, and I was
jobs.
like, bro, roll it.
So they,
Just
the ones who
roll it,
tried to
dude.
stop it,
I'm telling you, just have
then
fun.
go at it for
Like,
those
let's chill around
positions
summer. We wanna have
that
fun
they
with
put
our-
fear in other people
We
about.
wanna
Don't
be
let him do.
informative, but
It's
you know,
insane when you
I'm gonna wrap it
and
up.
you're trying to
Smash
tell
that like
them.
button. Share
You're
the show.
yelling
We're
at
gonna have a
them,
million segments we put up
and
every
then
single day, just nonstop.
the
That's
ones
all
you're
we
trying to
do.
help
Follow me on
make a
Instagram,
profit
Snapchat,
off of you
Facebook.
yelling. Get the Karen, the bully, non-vaxxer, you motherfuckers. You know what? Pull the plug. Pull the fucking plug, Joe. Wave your fucking flag. Wave 'em high. Oh man. What a shit show, huh? Tiny bubbles in the morning. Hey, what's up? Yes, I try to do that just sporadically, whatever comes into my conscious field. It could be just random words. They try to say that's a mental illness. It's like, no, it's for later on when I read. My voice is stronger. If I don't do that, then I'm very cracky and shaky when I try to read, and I gotta get warmed up. But if I do that every once in a while, I am ready to go. What you want me to read? Shakespeare. Shakespeare to Dryden. Random? Random? My choice, random? Okay. Elizabethan and Jacobin lyrics. Jacobin. Sir Thomas Wyatt. Sir Thomas Wyatt's father, Sir Henry Wyatt of Allington Castle, Kent, was also a courtier of Henry VIII's suite at the memorable Field of the Cloth of Gold. He prepared a promising career for his son. Page 125. It's the Columbia University series, Shakespeare to Dryden, Book 11. He prepared a promising career for his son, and Sir Thomas had already borne many honorable responsibilities, and was fast becoming a trusted counselor of the king's, when at 39 he was sent to Falmouth to escort an ambassador from the Emperor of Germany, and heat and hurry brought on a fever, from which he died on the way. It is quite likely that after finishing his course at St. John's College, Cambridge, where he took the degree of B.A. in 1518 and that of M.A. in 1520, Sir Thomas, like other young noblemen of his day, went to Italy for a time. He was certainly familiar with Italian literature, and his great title to consideration is that he introduced the sonnet into English poetry. Oh, he introduced the sonnet into English poetry, like the sonnet itself. That's interesting, learning about what is a sonnet. Well, what's a parable? Is that a hyperbole? Please. He wrote also rondeau and other lyrics with grace and sweetness, and has left some spirited satiric verse. Most of his poems are wistful love songs, inspired according to tradition by a hopeless passion for unfortunate Anna Boleyn. Little is known of Lady Elizabeth Brooke, of young wife Wyatt, married when he was 18, but his plaintive lines indicate a ladder of unhappy love. If the Queen was the object, the fact did not lessen the King's friendship for Wyatt or the latter's stanch loyalty. Although during her trial he was confined in the Tower on some charge now unknown, it was probably unconnected with her. Yet it is said that after her execution in 1536, he was a changed man. The dashing courtier, noted for his wit, became a sedate and thoughtful statesman. He seemed to leave youth behind and grow suddenly mature, and his latter poems reflect the change. Wyatt's verse, although uneven, is often pleasantly melodious. It has the charm of spontaneity, and although less skillful than that of Surrey, contains some homely similes that foreshadow Elizabethan vividness. A description of such a one as he would love. A face should cement me wondrous well, should not be fair but lovely to behold, of lively look all grief to repel, with right good grace so would I that it should speak without word. Such words as none can tell. Her tress also should be of crisp gold, with wit, and these perchance I might be tried, and knit again with knot that should not slide. A means to attain happy life. Marshall, the things that do attain the happy life be these. I find the riches left, not got with pain, the fruitful ground, the quiet mind, the equal friend, no grudge, no strife, no charge of rule, no governance without disease, the healthful life, the household of continuance, the mean diet, no delicate fare, true wisdom joined with simpleness, the night discharged of all care, where wine the wit may not oppress, the faithful wife without debate, such sleep as may beguile the night, contended with thine own estate, ne wish for death, ne fear his might. You're welcome. Thank you for the request.
say that they will never be heard. Speak a little louder, I'll never hear your word. It's okay. Yeah, you're probably not listening anyway. When I was growing up, I was a dreamer, not a realist. They said keep dreaming, so you'll never be the illest. Now I'm a mix between the realist and the dreamer. I drive a piece of shit, but I'm still dreaming of a beamer. I sat here long enough, like I was an abandoned building. Walking a tightrope in this world, trying to provide for my children. This world's in recession, bringing me to depression. So meet me at the studio for a 3-hour session to release some aggression. The microphone's a healer, music on my weapons, and I am the killer. The music for drugs, then I need the dealer. If my rhymes for certain lawns, I need the killer, the chiller. And sat here long enough, it's time to lash out. We fuck around with all this garbage, time to take the trash out. Only why, and I get cooled off my rain. And if anybody tries to bring me down, I will get up again and keep rise up. People say that they will never be heard. Speak a little louder, I'll never hear your word. It's okay. Yeah, they're probably not listening anyway. Yeah. The power, the pressure, the pain of an icon. The only time my soul breathes easy is when my mic's on. Spitting juice over beats equals the rain song.